Hey, what's up, guys? So I got matched against ChickenHawk. Here's a quick look at the rankings here. So it's pretty stacked with everybody that's in here. This is ChickenHawk stats, and here are my stats. Currently I'm ranked 62, and I'm dead smack in the middle of Masters 3. This is what I'm running on defense. So I'm not sure how well Emma's going to do. What I thought to do is to save the secret defenders, the full team, because they might come in handy at the last minute. So I pulled Heartless out and just kind of chatting with Up Dog, doing some testing. It looks like Adam could be useful, so we'll see how this goes. Room 2 is the same as what I ran last week. It's just mostly to try to pull a double sack. I'm trying the Extreme X-Men in 3. And so maybe Void Knight can help make a difference, just to make sure that they use Spider Society. We'll see if Alpha Flight can beat this or not, but I think it's a Spider Society counter. And of course, Odin Illuminati, so I moved that to 4. And what I noticed on the counter sheet is all the counters that were on the sheet for Odin Illuminati had Mr. Fantastic. So because of that, I decided to put Black Bolt in. I went ahead and put Mr. Fantastic on the Infinity Watch as a sack team. And so this room 5 is just a collection of leftover pieces because I couldn't come up with a team that would not be beaten by New Warriors. So I figured, hey, let's just throw the spare parts in here. It can probably still be beaten or will be beaten by New Warriors, and perhaps it just lasts a bit longer because of the room rules and making use of the rest of Unlimited and Masters of Evil. And then room 6 is what I've been running last week as well, because it was a difficult room to clear on a one-shot. So a couple of times it took 2 attempts. This is what my opponent has on defense. So it's a pretty tricky looking defense. I've been spending some time trying to decide on what I'm going to do here. But for now, what I think I'm going to do is Cabal, probably Zemo and Ultimus on 1. And it looks like I can probably do Apoc, Eternals, and Tangled Web after the double sack. That's the thought. I was wondering if I could use Ares, but I'll probably need to use Apoc. I'm just going to go in with straight Spider Society on 3. I think the key is to try to get the safeguard up as soon as possible. And I think that's from Penny. I'll double check, but I think the Penny ult brings back the safeguard. Room 4 will be the Night Stalkers. Room 5, I'm going to go ahead and try the full Secret Defenders, knowing that I have the New Warriors as a backup to clean up. So that's the plan there. And so room 6 will be a tricky approach. So what I'm thinking about doing here is going in with Superior 6 Apoc. It might be better Superior 6 Ares, but Apoc may be needed for 2. So I'll try Superior 6 with Vulture and Ares. The goal here would be to kill definitely the Dorm and then one other if I can. And then I have Mercs for Money and Kang. So depending on where I'm at in the sequence of things, maybe it takes another sack and then go in with Mercs for Money and Kang, because I don't know that I really have anything else left to clean it up with anyway. And then this way there would have been a double sack. So tentatively that's the plan, guys. So let's take a look and see how this goes. So let's go into this Illuminati team first. And Illuminati Dorm is something I had not faced or actually seen before. And knowing I have to kill them twice in most cases here, I'm thinking that it's going to have to be 2 attempts. I'm not sure if it will be, but going into this, but most likely that's how I see this playing out. And so I'm not sure where to even go with my first attack, but I'm like, probably the Dorm, just because if I do fail and he's not on full health, then they won't revive when I come back in. And so as I'm going through this attack, the first thought is let's just get them all low because they got to revive. And then at least if you have to come back in, then they'll be low and you have a good chance to kill them off. And as the battle draws out, you see how I killed the Dorm, which was helpful. But as the battle draws out, is actually playing pretty well, and the health is really low on this team. And so here, when I hit this left side and hit the Hank and bring him down in the red, my thought was, I forgot. It's like, oh, I could kill the Hank, but I can't perma-kill him, so I probably should have moved over to the Captain Britain side and got them low as well, because they can't heal up. And so that was a moment of just forgetting. So I hit him here and I kill him, and he comes back at, in the health in the yellow instead of the red. And so that was a slight misplay, and it's something to keep in mind if you see them in room 6 and you do have to hit them twice. You just might as well hit the other side or hit the toons that are have more health to bring them down for your second attempt. And so my thought here is, let's just go on with Old Man Logan. Make sure we get this done. This is still Illuminati. And I couldn't think of a better team to use, not because of because of what Illuminati can do to the other type teams you would use here, but just because of the revives. It's like, right, they revive. So you see here Pandapool's reviving, Deathpool will revive, and then once we get Old Man Logan going, then he'll revive. The whole idea of Kang was at least to get some damage in. And I thought here, if I could kill the Shuri, then maybe I'll start getting the assist. But I couldn't kill him. Well, actually, I do get the assist. And so once that gets going, it's like, okay, we're just going to just clean this up. We're going to try to make sure we get the best efficiency on this second hit that we can. And in hindsight, it's like, after I had done that hit on Captain Britain, it was like, well, maybe I should have gone in on the Hank. And that's why if the Hank was lower, I'd have kept him lower. It would have been a little bit better efficiency. And so on this attack here, I think it's just a safer play to just go ahead and use Cabal on the full out of time. It's not that I think that you can't find another team that can beat them. It's just that to beat them efficiently. And so I think it's a dealer's choice here to, when you have your Black Knight this low, to stay focused on him, because maybe once in this case, Zemo goes in, you get an assist. But I like to go ahead and just block the Cosmic Ghost Rider, just to make sure he doesn't get a chance to go. And that may have cost me on a little bit of the healing factor there on the Black Knight, where he hit into my Iron Patriot and caused some damage. But overall, this is just commentary to kind of say how maybe it could be played a little bit better for a point or two more. But at the end of the day, Cabal is going to get pretty good efficiency on out of time. And that's the main thing, is it will be a better efficiency than most other teams you take into them. The problem is I probably could have used Cabal here, because this team turned out to be a bit trickier than I thought. And my thought going into it was, with Secret Defenders, is that they would have a chance to one-shot, but it would just be a very low efficiency. And since I had never really done this before, at least with success, I wasn't sure who to hit with the hard light ult. And my thought was, well, if I hit the 3-pack over there where I can at least tap Strange, it might slow him down, which I think it did for the most part. But maybe I should have hit the Gambit to slow down the Rogue, because she's turned out to be such a huge problem in this particular battle here. And so if I were able to use the Superior 6, I think it would, of course, go much smoother. And I think that's what my opponent understands too. But when the way his defense is set up, it makes it kind of hard to dedicate your Superior 6 to this room. And so you can see here where the Rogue is causing a problem. I think that was good placement with the Gambit. And you can see Gambit comes back. And so I think if you were to try this as a defense, it is a pretty good defense. Probably much better than what we can come up with as a 6 team when we're really trying to have a really solid team. And so, because the threat is Doctor Strange, because he can, not only did Forge bring back the Gambit and extend the life of this team, but if Strange gets a chance to go and you were to kill somebody else, he'd bring them back, or he just makes sure they were all healed up to full. So I did get the Strange out of there, so that's not a threat anymore, but I'm going against basically the Rogue Extreme that really is the team that matters. And so my Secret Defenders, they're out of gas, because they're the type of team where you're going to get the first 2 turns is your best bet to have a chance for them to do anything. And so perhaps if the Black Cat did not go stealth and the RNG of this battle, they'd hit into the Black Cat, Strange could have had a chance to go and bring back some tunes. Because I think in this particular battle here, the idea was like you want to try to kill the if you could perma kill, or after everything was done, find a way to kill Nightcrawler, then there'd be a chance to go in and clean up a little bit easier. But by having the 4 of them there, even without Strange, it's like, wow, you're just really going right into the extreme as a brand new attack here. And so the only hope I had was just really to get past to hope to not walk into a Nightcrawler ult coming back into this on the second time around. And so my first thought was New Warriors, because like I was saying, the Nightcrawler, if I can permakill a Nightcrawler, then I might have a chance to beat the rest of the team. The problem is, even though I have a G19 New Warriors now, the problem is still that Extreme is very strong and they're on full health. And perhaps if they weren't on full health, I'd have a chance to really go in and have a chance to beat this team with New Warriors. But they weren't. And I think it did help to not have to walk into a Nightcrawler ult. But at the end of the day, they're still powerful enough to last out what New Warriors can deliver. And that has a lot to do with Rogue. And so my thought is to actually run this same team on defense, because it is such a commanding pull against other teams that are not superior 6. Probably if you have a team and you're going in and you're using your Cabal here, then yeah, you'll beat it just as easily. But I think aside from that, it can be an efficiency sink. And it's making me wonder if even Rogue just needs to be a healer. Because if you could afford her as a P3 healer here, she'll be healing, and then she'll be lasting even longer. So it's something to consider, because I was not thinking to use Extreme Rogue in this room anymore, but this is the second time that I can remember for sure that I've gone against this team with a Strange in here. And I do remember the first time around I proceeded as normal, and Strange got his ult very quickly. And once again, that could have something to do with the crits that Gambit is throwing out there, and he's still picking up on him somehow. I'm not sure how that worked out where he got his ult first turn, as well as if the Strange gets to go, then you're going to get a Wong in there, and that can be another way to drag this fight out. But at the end of the day, you can see here it's a very strong efficiency sink. I am down to the trio, and my New Warriors are pretty much out of gas, so the only thing I can hope for is to try to kill one of these tunes. And I wasn't sure if it should be Rogue or Gambit, so because I didn't decide and commit to one, and I was chipping away at both, it turned into a problem. Because right here, perhaps if I just went ahead and killed the Rogue, there may have been a chance to come in and we'll actually finish this out with this team. But I think at some point I switched over to the Forge, and I think that was an error, at least for trying to do the best I can with this team, what's left of it. At the end of the day, even if I had gone after the Rogue, I don't think that they were going to clear the room. It was just a hope that they could. And once again, this is why I'm thinking that if Rogue is a healer, she'd be healing not only herself, but the rest of the team. Because she's got a pretty good healing under the other ISOs. It's just that since you're trying to just use this room, not so much to beat the other team based off of what she can do as a offensive threat, more so just to make her last as long as possible. And so because of what happened there, I said, well, let's just move over and take a look at trying to clear some other rooms. And of course, the Night Stalkers, we've seen this enough times. We know that they just kind of just walk all over the Orchis. And my thought is, once you kind of get this first attack out the way, if there's a way to slow down the Nimrod, that'd be your best bet. But so far, there doesn't seem to really be a way to do that. Maybe the original targets can go onto him and somehow you get the pings going. But if the bot drops where you can't really hit that Nimrod, then he's going to put a little damage on your team. And of course, that's going to affect your efficiency based on your team's health at the end of the battle. But it's still a very quick battle. And so here we have our Spider Society. We're going in with them onto this Alpha Flight Skrull. And I did not think that Ares would make such a big difference, but I think he does. And so, because I watched a battle where there was no Ares, and pretty much the Spider Side just walked all over the Alpha Flight Skrull. And so I thought that I could just go in, and when I ulted with the Pav or the Penny here, that I'd be okay. And you can see that the Skrull's ult didn't really hurt them that badly. But because of the positioning, and now you have Sasquatch kind of on an island, it does protect them long enough for Alpha Flight, that is, to recover from that initial onslaught from the Spider Society. And now my Spider Society is on the ropes. And so there's a kind of a coin toss on what you do here. I do have Alpha Flight as a backup. Updog had mentioned after I did this attack, maybe if I had taken in my North Star, could have one-shot it. My plan going into this was to have the Alpha Flight as a backup to clear this. And so once again, that's kind of the gambling that you take. You know, do you try to go for the one shot, or do you play it safe and go for the double tap? And I think in this case, the double tap would have served me, or it is serving me well. It's just that I didn't have a good plan going into his room 5. And I would have felt a lot better had I been able to go in and hit that with 2 attempts instead of, having to go in and see what I can do with a 3rd attempt. But at the end of the day, I think having Spider Society as the first attack here, and you kind of get control over the Skrull. You can see the Skrull is pretty low. He healed a little bit, and for the most part, North Star and Guardian, they're so far away from their ults that coming in with Alpha Flight should do very well. And so that was my thought, that hey, once you go in, if you can really just take care of this Sasquatch. I'm not sure if he goes into stealth again or how that plays out, but my thought was like, hey, you just want to go in, try to take care of the Sasquatch, and then your Alpha Flight can kind of rip up their Skrull pretty quickly. And so that's the game plan after my Spider Society loses here. Now, perhaps I could have stopped to make sure Skrull doesn't get close to his ult, but he's pretty far away still in my mind when I was going into this attack. And once again, I have a full Alpha Flight. Not that I was thinking Wolverine was going to do much. And here, I'm looking at how much the Skrull heals up just coming into the next attack, so that's kind of odd. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at how much damage can really go in from this team more than anything. And so that's why I was thinking, like, well, you go on Wolverine, and to my surprise, he just kind of obliterates the Sasquatch and the North Star for the most part, making it much easier to get them out of the way and then move over to the Skrull before he has a chance to really cause my team some damage. I elected to just go straight with the ult, and to my surprise, it did way more damage than special and ult, because my thought was, well, I come back around and I should be able to do special again if I needed it, and then ult much stronger. And so now we're going into his Mephisto. My thought was, let's just go in with the Bifrost. We'll see if we can pull, because my thought originally was like, well, maybe I can try to pull the Doom's ult. But there's so little damage taking place to where Doom is in his placement that he's not going to even be able to get scratched. And so then there was a worry that, okay, well, now I have to be more concerned with not getting to his ult, too close to his ult, because I'd be walking into his ult. So I just kind of went through this like just to let it play out, because at the end of the day, we do need to get past the Annihilator's turns. And so this is just another sack. The Reed Richards is in there. I put Morgan in there because they have kind of enough health to make sure that I get through some things, I thought. And so As you can see here, it was just to get through the ult from Mephisto. They lasted long enough to do that. Now, Doom still hasn't taken a turn, so that was to my advantage by him not taking a turn, because that means he's still very far away from his ult. And so my thought was, well, if I can make this double tap work, then it's about getting Doom low. I did want to stun him to make sure he doesn't get a turn by mistake. And so not only is he stunned, his health is low, and the attack goes on to the 99, and it gives me a chance to have Icarus go right in and get this double tap. And so the blinds did help to a degree, but of course Thanos, his passive is unavoidable, so I do take some damage. The good part is my Apoc is very healthy and strong, and so here's like, okay, well, who do you want to hit? You don't need to hit Mephisto, so let's hit the Gladiator. And so we'll go ahead and just make sure Mephisto's out of capacity. And now we're going to jump over to the Thanos and just get him out of the game, and then finish this attack off. But at the end of the day, I think this was a good way to go in after a double sack and use characters that you wouldn't use anywhere else. The unfortunate part is the main tune there that was probably needed was Apoc. And I'd like to have been able to try that counter with Ares if it were possible. And so now we're going into this last attack here, and perhaps this Undying could have worked on the 4-piece that was there before. And it's something that I guess I would try next time. I'm not sure if Surfer would have been the answer. I think I did have a Nightcrawler available, so I could have tried Nightcrawler just to see with this particular team if it could have beat the 4-piece, and then I could have gone in and at least hit this room with 2 attempts. But at the end of the day, this is all hindsight, and so the main thing I know is that with the 4-piece, even after kind of going in on that failed attempt the first time around, New Warriors would have to be the final attempt, because they're just not going to be able to get it done. If there's no Nightcrawler in there, I think, yeah, they could get it done. And that's probably why we do need to, if you decide to run this particular X-Men team on defense with Strange, you're going to probably have to put Nightcrawler in there to make sure that it is the efficiency sink that it was for me.